A police scanner on January 29th captures Rochester, New York police responding to a domestic disturbance on the city's north side.
Family trouble, Avenue V. Baker. 247, I'm out.
30 minutes later, a 9-year-old girl ends up handcuffed, forced into a squad car, and pepper sprayed.
Just scare at this point.
Here's the thing. Rochester had just vowed to do better, to change. 1 year ago, a black man named Daniel Prude, who was in the midst of a mental health crisis, was killed after an encounter with Rochester police. Prude's death sparked protests and fresh scrutiny over how police handle people in a mental health crisis. Americans with mental illnesses make up almost a quarter of all those killed by police and at least 10% of all police calls for service. So what went wrong again in Rochester, and how could it have been different? We asked 3 experts on policing, race, and mental health to watch the police body cam footage and break down how this crisis could have been prevented. Seth Stoughton is a former Tallahassee police officer who now teaches law and criminal justice. Nikki Jones is a professor of African American Studies at the University of California, Berkeley. And Dan Feltz is an EMT and counselor with crisis assistance helping out on the streets in Eugene, Oregon. This is body cam footage from the first officer on scene, Adam Bradstreet.
Stop.
No!
Stop.
The first thing we do is introduce ourselves and let folks know who we are and also why we're there. Just, hey, my name's Dan. We're a crisis intervention team, part of public safety. We're just here to make sure that you're doing okay.
You're dealing with a 9-year-old, so you can use that fact to open that line of communication, right? To say, like, I don't know about you, but I'm really cold. I could use some cocoa. Do you want some? Just ways to humanize that interaction.
But here we have an officer yelling commands from the start.
Stop.
No!
Stop.
Which is a sure way to alienate the client.
You're not going to run away from me, okay? Because I'm going to have to chase you, okay? And I got like 6 other cars coming to chase you.
Black children historically have not gotten the benefit of innocence. We know that black girls are seen often as older than they are, and that they are not afforded the privileges of being a child.
Then, the girl's mom starts to yell at her daughter.
I got custody. You're my child. So you gonna take your ass home right now, and you gonna take your ass in the house.
When I listen to that, what I hear is a family in crisis, a family in need of support and some services. The police is not among them.
It escalates when the mom and daughter start picking fights with passersby.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Get out the car.
This is not the officer's fault in the sense that, it's not the officer escalating here, but the officer has to control the pace of the scene. The officer has the opportunity to maybe slow it down.
One of us would have continued talking with the client while the other went to go gather history from mom. And we would have attempted to physically separate at this point because this is getting ugly and it's getting traumatic and it's impacting the psychological welfare of a child, and that's not okay.
The situation deteriorates further as more officers arrive on scene.
Put her in your car.
No! No!
Yeah. Stop.
I want my dad!
You gotta tell this officer where
I want my dad.
Come on.
I'm not going nowhere. I want my dad.
Police handcuff the 9-year-old and try to force her into the back of a squad car.
As an officer, I interacted with a lot of people. I don't know that I've ever interacted with an unarmed 9-year-old who I thought was so threatening that the situation required handcuffs.
The girl continues to struggle. Remember, she's not under arrest. It's unclear why the officers are intent on cuffing and forcing the 9-year-old into the car.
I want my dad. Wait. I just want to see my dad, please. For the last time. I want my dad.
Get in the car.
I demand it.
I don't care what you demand. Let's go.
I don't care what you demand. Let's go. If there was a quote that summarized this entire interaction, that would be it.
I don't care what you demand. I don't care. And we can imagine a child in this kind of moment hearing, I don't care about you.
Oh my God.
Then get in the car.
Please help somebody.
Something that we do is we listen and we empathize. Staying quiet for a little bit and trying to gather some information from her experience is going to be critical to him coming up with an informed plan of action. And he never does that.
On the other side of the car, Officer Alexander Lombard, the second officer on the scene, starts pulling at the girl's arm.
Stop!
Sit up!
No!
You're acting like a child.
I am a child, the fuck!
I see a profound wisdom. I am a child. It kind of echoes all the black children who have been treated in this way by the police. Right? So see me as a child and see me as a human being. And if you did, then maybe you would be treating me differently in this moment. 9
officers are now on scene. The girl, surrounded by male cops, starts asking for a female officer.
You don't get it.
The only female officer present is Hannah Schneeberger.
I want a girl officer! Stand up, please let me stand off for me.
Okay, they'll get off of you. You have to get up, okay? When you get up, can you look over? I got her.
Okay, good. So you hear the female officer saying, I got her.
Can you look over? I got her.
That's good. Involving pretty minimal effort here, right? Like, all you had to do is, I want the lady officer. Okay, I'm here. I got this. That's it. It doesn't obviously solve the problem, but it sure looks like it improves it in that moment.
But that doesn't last.
We'll fix them once you sit in the car. I want my dad! Come on. I'm going to pay for you and I don't want to. So sit back. Then sit back. Come on. This is your last chance. Otherwise, pepper spray's going in your eyeballs. Come on, let's go.
This officer went from a veneer of help to harm in about a minute. The thing that her peers want is more important than the thing that the child needs in this moment. And so she shifts, right, from what looked like a desire to help and to connect to the threat of violence.
The officers make the decision to pepper spray the girl.
Just spray her. Just spray her at this point.
Stop!
Dear.
Stop!
I got her. I got her.
Please, wipe my eye! Wipe my eye, please!
The 9-year-old girl is left in the back seat with pepper spray in her eyes.
Everything that these officers did from the moment they showed up on scene escalated the situation. And you can tell that not only are the officers here inequipped to respond to these calls, they don't want to be there. They want to get this call done and over with as fast as they can. They have no curiosity whatsoever about who this person is or what they're struggling with.
I would say that the racism, the systemic racism, is hiding in plain sight. It's not a simple problem of good cops and bad cops. It is how policing operates as an institution and its inability to address people in crisis in this way, in the way that we need.
It would not surprise me at all if the instructors across the country use this video as a how not to interact with individuals in mental health crisis.
Rochester's mayor and police department declined NPR's interview requests. The 4 main officers involved are currently suspended with pay pending an investigation. The girl's family is suing the city and the Rochester Police Department.